Don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth. And you got billion-dollar companies raining down on me from every different place. And do I really even need to say anything? Like, you're showing it. You're showing what you do to people. You're showing you don't give them a voice. You're showing you're not going to listen. You're not going to see a person past, what you've read in a very skewed article. You're showing what bullies you are against one voice here. One. I'm that petrifying to these billion-dollar companies? Well, good. I hope I am. And I hope everybody else becomes that. I mean, this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of one voice. Imagine.
Nerd! D, wait for it. Delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So for today, we are going to be talking about Gina Carano, somebody who I actually do like. And we're going to go through this article right here by Fox News. I know that may turn some of you off because it's Fox News, but I saw this headline and I was like, yeah, it's clean and everything. Before I read this article and I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now let's talk some Gina Carano. If you follow my channel, you will know that I agree with Gina when it came to her firing from Disney. I think that Disney did her dirty and she did not deserve that. And then days after she got fired from Disney, she then went on to get hired by the Daily Wire. Shoot. So, and I'm happy, and they decided to make a movie, this Terror on the Prairie movie, which came out this past weekend. Now, I just have to say that I personally am so happy that Gina Carano got another chance to act and do her thing. And because of it, I did subscribe to the Daily Wire only for a month. I'm going to watch the movie, review coming soon. Hopefully, if I get time to sit down and write one. But I just, because I wanted to see it, I love Gina Carano. I support her. I think she's fantastic as a person. Is she the best actress in the world? No, but I don't think she's bad. But I know a lot of people just like to riff on her because of her political views. And that's why she was fired, because of her political views. So I'm going to get started on this article and read it for you guys and read it with you guys and everything. And then, yeah, we'll discuss it down below when you're all done. All right, so it says Gina Carano is ready to move on after being booted from the Disney Plus original series, The Mandalorian. The former MMA fighter is starring in a new Western developed by the Daily Wire, Terror on the Prairie, in which she plays Hattie McAllister, a tough as rawhide pioneer mother who defends her children from outlaws while her husband, UFC champion Donald Cowboy Carone, is away. The 40-year-old also serves as a producer. She's 40. She looks good for 40. Good for her. Carano described the film as closure after being given the axe publicly in February 2021. Lucasfilm announced that Carano was no longer a part of the Star Wars spinoff cast after many online called her firing over a social media post that likened the experience of Jewish people during the Holocaust to the U.S. political climate. Which I don't have that right here right now. I should have looked it up so I could share it with you guys. But, everything that they were trying to say, everything that people were saying was completely false. She did nothing wrong. Yeah. She previously caught backlash on social media for other comments about the coronavirus, the use of gender pronouns, and election fraud. And I know a lot of people want to go on to this point that it's not the one thing, it's the combination of everything that means she should have gotten fired. And me, I just go, you're kidding, right? Especially now when we know things about the coronavirus now and everything, and all this stuff. It's so stupid. People are dumb. And Star Wars, Lucasfilm they're just retarded straight up, all the way around. I mean, look at Obi-Wan right now. It's so freaking awful. And they don't know what they're doing over there. Anyways, Bill Burr says Gina Carano's Mandalorian firing was unfair. Liberals proved her point. Okay, a spokesperson with the production company, that's another article. I just read it because it's fun. Anyways, a spokesperson with the production company said at the time that Carano was no longer employed by Lucasfilm and there were no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media post denigrated people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable, the statement read. Yeah, they're stupid. This is a poster for Terror on the Prairie. It's very good. It's a very good poster. I enjoy it. Then it says, but these days, Carano is feeling hopeful about her future. The actress said she intends to live on her terms. Carano spoke to Fox News Digital about how she dealt with her public firing, facing cancel culture and lassoing in on a new chapter in her career. Fox News, what was it about the role of Hattie McAllister that made you go, I have to do this? Gina Carano, I've always wanted to do a period piece and be put in a dress, right? Ha 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 ha. My favorite movie when I was growing up was Pride and Prejudice. I love Pride and Prejudice. Anyways, I love those kinds of movies, and I've always wanted to have a horse in a movie. So when the script came across, I was like, well, this checks a lot of those boxes for me. But I was also really fascinated with the family aspect of it and being on the frontier. They're having a fight all the time to stay alive. They're fighting the elements. They're fighting the outlaws. They're even fighting each other at some point. I'll get to something else. Fox News. Westerns, I'm pretty sure that making this movie was a lot cheaper also. I'm pretty sure that, financing for this movie, her family is very wealthy. So I'm pretty sure that also played a part into it. Westerns aren't exactly, they're pretty cheap as far as movies go. I know period pieces can be expensive, but this kind of period piece probably wasn't as expensive as, say, if she did do Pride and Prejudice. Anyways, Westerns are making a big comeback in Hollywood. Why do you believe people are so fascinated by this genre today? Carano, probably because you don't see a ton of CGI computer-generated imagery in nature. Our set was in Montana, which is its own character. The costumes are stripped down. There's nothing super flashy about them. It's what you would have worn being out in the elements. And maybe Westerns are popular right now because people are sick and tired of watching TV where everything is Skittles. It's all these huge, big, bright colors, CGI, and superheroes. Westerns are the complete opposite, and I think people are craving something real now. I would say, to be honest with you, Westerns aren't exactly my favorite, but I don't dislike them. There's actually what is it, 3:10 to Yuma? I actually really liked that movie. So, I mean, there are Westerns as far as that goes. They've never been like my favorite, but I'll sit down and watch one. And most of the time I usually do like them. So maybe I do like Westerns. I just don't want to take the time to sit down and watch them. When I was canceled, I felt like everything was turned against me. Everything that I loved was just against me. I was fighting for my name. That's a quote, so I'm pretty sure it'll come up again. So you previously said that this film's release felt like closure of a particularly painful experience in my life, and becoming Hattie has allowed me to wear everything that I was feeling out loud. What did you mean by that? When I was canceled, I felt like everything was turned against me. Okay, this is the quote. Everything that I loved was just against me. I was fighting for my name. I just felt like everything was stripped from me. But Hattie, she's out there with her family. She's trying to be supportive, a supportive wife, but she's removed from her home. It's hard. Everything has been stripped from her. The elements have turned against her. She and her husband aren't in the best place. They're arguing back and forth, and the baby's crying. I just felt it was really good. It was a really good time for me to access the pain that I was feeling in my personal life and wear it quietly, because that's how I felt inside. It was nice that the character had that in it. And I could kind of use that as therapy, just to let my hurt show in a way that I was doing in life anyway. I think it really added to my character. I hope so. I haven't seen this movie yet. It's Saturday as of filming this, and I'm hoping to watch it tonight or Sunday. Some people have said that cancel culture has gone too far, while others have said cancel culture is needed because it holds people accountable. As someone who experienced it, how do you feel about cancel culture? I feel like cancel culture is extremely dangerous. I think it starts putting us on the line of kind of like a social credit score, and corporations are going to win that battle. They're going to win the social credit score. They're going to win the popularity battle because they have access to manipulating even the data, but they have access to manipulating the masses, whereas that robs from the individual. I agree with that. Cancel culture is so crazy, and I hate when people are like, it doesn't exist, but it's like everybody keeps saying like cancel culture this, cancel culture that, but then they're all like, it doesn't exist. I'm like, oh goodness. So I think that we need to look at things more individually, case by case. I understand that some companies don't want to associate themselves with some people. I might not want to either. I understand when people are fired, but when a company is preaching about being inclusive in all people and they're not, they're just telling one side of the story, and they're alienating half of it, if not more, the country. I think that we've run into a big problem. I agree. I like that dress. I don't know how I feel about this Shaw thing. I like her hair though. I don't know why it's blonde. I always liked her with dark hair, but yeah, she's super pretty. All right, let me get to this because this is pretty heavy, a long article. Okay. In my case, I don't think that anything I did deserved cancel culture. I don't think that it deserved being smeared by the Hollywood press, but I understand now how that machine works. I understand how awful the media has been in perpetrating this awful bullying and lies. They can just rain that down on you and not have any of it be true. I feel like this was a genuine case of cancel culture for not towing the narrative line. There's consequences. You can't just act a fool with your employer. I don't think that was the case with me, but I do feel like people are speaking up for my case. I don't think it was the case either. This was not one of those. It wasn't. I don't think it was the case. Like she did nothing wrong, and Disney, they were just looking for a reason to get rid of her, and they just needed a big one. I think Kathleen Kennedy over there, they didn't like her because she was liked and she was so nice, and she didn't toe their corporate line, or at least the corporate line they wanted. And so when she stepped out of line, and they were able to do something about it, they took the chance and everything. But even if somebody does make a mistake or something, there should be some amount of forgiveness if it was not on purpose. There should be more conversations of, let me explain to you what I mean there, or let's talk about this, so that it teaches the children and everybody else how to talk about things and they don't bully each other. All these companies are saying they're against bullying, and yet that's all that they represent. How to bully, don't have conversations, cancel people, pressure people. Were you surprised to get support during this time? The support that I received from so many people, never in my life would I have expected something like that. I just thought life is going to be a bit harder and a little different. But so many people came to my defense. I think a lot of them were paying attention to what really happened instead of just reading the headlines. I kept on thinking, gosh, I'm not a controversial person. Sorry, it took me a minute there. You illiterate asshole. Confrontational person at all. I just really felt like certain things needed to be talked about concerning the last couple of years. I don't think you should sign away your rights, your right to speech, because you're an actress or a basketball player. I think if there's any time to stand up for something, it's when you feel like your country's in massive danger of losing our constitutional rights. Normally, I would just act and I would probably be quiet, but I couldn't do that because I felt like if I know this and I believe this so passionately, I keep it to myself and I see everybody else holding their breath and not saying anything. Then I felt like I would get sick. I hold that in and I hold my breath along with everybody else. I decided not to. And I think it was much needed. You can tell with everybody just exhaling and the support I've gotten. They understood. And they were just glad somebody was able to do it. So the support has just been, it makes me emotional. I'm so appreciative of the people that really listened. It really encouraged me to keep going, keep fighting, because I do have a voice. I do feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people when I'm doing these things that I do. Hold on a second. I just want to check something because this is okay. We don't have too much longer to go. Okay, good. Because I just, yeah. Okay. How did you cope with the public firing? I didn't cope with it immediately. When I shot this movie, it was a nice distraction for me because I was able to act. I was able to play Hattie and I was able to let a lot of that stuff out through my character. I am my best self when I work. When I'm working, I just feel like everything is aligning right in my life. I was able to let it out through that and I felt great. But then the movie ended and it wasn't until around Christmas that it hit me. How real is it? Or how real it is, how painful that was, and how I needed to really address it in myself so that I could get past it and not have to deal with bitterness in my life. Good for you. Got to get through it. Keep chugging on. You have to deal with it. You have to know that, okay, that hurt really bad and it's okay to be hurt, but it's not okay to stay there for the rest of your life. I had to address it, listen to it, forgive and move on. And with the movie coming out, I do feel like it's closure. I get to put this beautiful piece of art out in the world. Now I get to just breathe and know there's another adventure that's going to be life-changing as well. I'm not going to let this moment in my life define me. I'm going to close it and then I'm going to move on. Good for you. What's the message you hope viewers will get when they see this movie for the first time? The message I hope people get is that the artist that art is free. Unions are created to protect people. And Hollywood's there to give us the best of the best. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the unions are protecting you. It doesn't mean that Hollywood is in control of the best of the best. I do hope they see this movie as a start to having other artists and creators realize that the sky's the limit. You don't have to be pigeonholed or sell your soul to do what you love. If you're doing what you love, you should replenish. It should replenish you. Sorry. It's been reported that some Star Wars fans have called on Disney for defending Moses Ingram after she received hateful messages on social media after they fired you. Do you have a comment? I want to just say I did a video about that. It's complete bullshit, 100%. Check that video out. Star Wars can go suck itself off for all I care. Anyways, I think people saw what happened in my circumstance and they were really offended. I think that sometimes corporations stir up things and people do keep the division going instead of bringing people together. And sometimes I think these corporations, they're telling us all to get on our knees and apologize, but they're not leading by example. There's been no apology. They just wait. All right, this is the last little bit. Oops. Okay. So I think some people are trying to say, hey, you want everybody else to apologize. Why don't you start with yourselves? Why don't you show us that you're going to respect people of all different beliefs, all different political affiliations, all different religions, all different skin colors, all different everything. Be truly inclusive. And I think that that's the thing. People want these corporations to be held accountable. They think people are just going to forget what happened. I think that's why people keep bringing up my name, because they want things to be set right, and they haven't been. I think eventually Disney's going to do a little bit of self-reflection and look at themselves and say what they're doing is not working. I think this is the last question. Yeah. Okay. Now that the movie is done, how are you feeling? I hope everybody, I don't think our leaders are really going to show us how to behave or act right. So I hope that we can all be encouraging to each other and lift each other up, because this country is truly, and the world is truly going to be in a lot of pain. There's going to be, I said, what did I say? Doing? And she said, how are you feeling? There's going to be a different way to show people what true light is. Whoever wrote this didn't write it down right. We've got to show people a different way. So I hope we can all do that, because there's going to be a lot of hurting people. We're going to need to put some differeces aside and agree to disagree to get our country and the morale back. I read that wrong. Anyway, morale back. We need to do that as people. I think art and movies can be a great thing if we bond together a little bit more. Terror on the Prairie is currently streaming on Daily Wire. The Associated Press continued this report. Okay, so that's that. So again, I just want to say I love Gina Carano. I think this is fantastic. I just I really hope that this movie does well for the Daily Wire. Like I said, I subscribe to them and for the month and everything. And I mean, if they keep putting out, and I'm gonna watch all their movies, hopefully I get time to do reviews on all of them. But I'm gonna watch all their movies in this month, and if they really put out stuff that I think is quality, then I'll continue with it. Like I said, I think they did Gina Carano dirty, and I'm on her side. And this was a really good interview, and I'm really happy to see that she's doing better. All right, you guys, tell me what you guys. I know this was a longer video. Sorry, I when I first read it on my phone, so it was a lot shorter. But this went a little bit longer than I wanted it to. All right, tell me what you guys think about this. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on my next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.